we've seen from the Trump administration over the last several weeks is just a flood of unprecedented extremism and a parade of horribles that continue to be unleashed on the American people. While at the same time, the Trump administration is not focused on solving the problems of everyday Americans. We're continuing to make sure that we focus on trying to make life better for everyday Americans. Fundamentally, that's why we were sent to Washington, D.C. We have to drive down the high cost of living. We have to secure the border. We have to keep communities safe. We have to protect our dreamers and farm workers.
When I say I don't like politicians, this is what I'm talking about right here. Rep. Hakeem Jeffries goes on CNN and just spouts complete and utter nonsense. And when I say I don't like politicians, I'm not even exclusively talking about Democrats. There's a lot of Republicans that are just full of willy-nilly nonsense as well. But this guy, I can't even believe he actually said this with a straight face. Rep. Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats are the ones securing the border, not Trump. Even though border crossings have dropped over 90% since Trump took office, we're just not going to acknowledge that. But before we get into this video, I want to remind you guys, subscribe to RTM News because it ensures to YouTube that you're enjoying our videos, and then that way they'll continually show up in your feed, and then they'll push out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
National security interests. Look, what we've seen from the Trump administration over the last several weeks is just a flood of unprecedented extremism and a parade of horribles that continue to be unleashed on the American people. While at the same time, the Trump administration is not focused on solving the problems of everyday Americans. We're continuing to make sure that we focus on trying to make life better for everyday Americans. Fundamentally, that's why we were sent to Washington, D.C. We have to drive down the high cost of living. We have to secure the border. We have to keep communities safe. We have to protect our dreamers and farm workers and families. These are the things that matter, as opposed to creating crisis-like moments when we should be coming together and demonstrating leadership for the free world.
And wouldn't that be nice if you were actually doing that? Here's the thing, all the things that he said in that, and what needs to be done and what we should be doing, totally agree. We should be securing our border. We should be making prices, bringing prices down for Americans, because a lot of people have been struggling lately. But you weren't doing that. You guys were in power. Biden was the president, and you guys weren't securing the border. You were saying no human is illegal. You were saying it's totally fine that they're here. They have every right to be here. We're all immigrants. Like, what are you talking about? This is why I can't stand the game that politics is. They don't care about the truth. They don't. All that matters is that your side's bad, our side's good. Be on our side. This is what needs to be fixed. But we're never gonna fix it. We never actually want to implement any sort of actual change. We just want to spout our talking points. We're going to say the things you want to hear, and then, like, hopefully you believe us, even though we never deliver. Like, and here's the thing. I know people be glazing Trump all the time, and I'm guilty of doing that in the past, I'm sure, to some extent. But, like, even Trump, you got to criticize him too. Like, and things that he's done and things that he says. But this is just the most brain rot nonsense, like, regurgitated narrative spewing nonsense that comes out of Democrats and Republicans, but specifically in this case, Hakeem Jeffries, because you don't actually want to see any change happen, man. And you know that that's complete and total BS, that Donald Trump isn't focusing on the border, and that's not something that he wants to see change. It's like literally what he ran on, and that's what everybody voted for him for, that and the economy. You're so full of crap. And we know Tom Homan came in there to immediately eradicate this nonsense that has allowed forced ICE agents, or not ICE agents, ICE, to stop doing their job. It's like, oh man, oh, it's so frustrating. Also, we're gonna show you guys a little chart real quick just to show the nonsense that he was just spewing is completely inaccurate. The Trump effect, immigration crackdown. In 2022, 166,010 people came in illegally. I mean, I'm sure these numbers are not even accurate. We all know there's probably way more. To 2023, 156,630. 2024, 189,913. 2025, oh, who's president? 8,326. Look at that insanely massive drop from the Trump administration. Like, even if you don't like the guy, that's totally fine. That's your prerogative. No, like, I don't care. Like, you don't have to like the president. You don't have to, like, you got to respect the office. I mean, even when Joe Biden was president, I don't want him to fail. He did, but I didn't want him to. I want him to do great. I want him to make America thrive for all of us. But this ridiculousness, man, oh my gosh, we're just blatantly lying. And I'm so sick of the scare tactics and fear mongering that has been completely, like, just fueled all over social media. Like I see it on Twitter. Like people are acting like they're terrified for their life. Trump's the worst. This thing with Zelenskyy was terrible. It's like, guys, you're dragging it. You're dragging it. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Honestly, stay off your phone. Stay off Twitter. Stay off the news, and you will be fine. Trust me. Like you'll be good. Oh, I can't stand it. But I'm gonna show you guys this video Wesley Hunt posted the other day, completely debunking and exposing the Democrats and this bipartisan effort that they tried to implement a bill that was going to change all this stuff, that this nonsense they were talking about in terms of we need to secure a border, but we just can't because of XYZ. This proves that to be completely 100% totally false. So let's check it out.
Time and again, Democrats have reached across the aisle to fix our immigration system.
Want us to work together in a bipartisan manner.
I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement.
How can a bill be dead on arrival? They don't even know what solutions are being proposed in terms of addressing the challenges at the border.
We're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that we deal with what's going on at the border. There's bipartisan support.
But there wasn't a serious bipartisan effort to address it.
That bipartisan border security bill, it would have provided more border security.
The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen.
Look at the chaos that's unfolded at the southern border, and they just want Congress to do something about it because
first active duty troops
1 week into Trump's presidency
have now arrived at the southern border.
For ICE, the agency arresting nearly 300 illegal immigrants on Saturday alone and nearly 1,000 on Sunday.
We're getting an exclusive firsthand look at the latest Trump administration deportation flight from El Paso, Texas to Ecuador.
As that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
But look on your screen because these are the number of arrests and actions.
This just shows that they were not trying to do anything to secure our border and get rid of the illegal immigrants that were doing a bunch of terrible things in our country. Total since Trump inauguration. This is in just January. January 21st to the 22nd, 460. January 23rd, 538. January 24th, 593. January 25th, 286. Sunday, January 26th, 956. It's March now. Imagine how many more people have been deported. Like, you guys, oh my goodness. You've been lied to, man. You've been lied to. And I don't know what Joe Biden's numbers were in the last few months when he's actually trying to make the border more secure because he wanted Kamala to win. But, oh man, you can't argue with what he's been doing in terms of specifically border security. If there's other things you don't like that he's doing, that's whatever, your prerogative. You can't say he's not trying to secure the border.
That have been taken in just week one.
And Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says military planes will deport every migrant every day.
Border Patrol agents told us they had 0 gotaways. That is the first time in years, Bill.
Wow. It's amazing how how efficiently you can get things done when you actually try, right? When you actually want to do what you said you were going to do. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh man. I'm very grateful that we have this. And I have one more video I want to show you guys with Tom Homan completely explaining what we all should know. It's very common sense. If you're an American citizen, you have a right to be here. If you're not, you don't. And obviously you can make a claim for asylum and there's a process to that. But if you are illegally here, you have no right to be here. I see people making crying videos about how their aunt or grandma is being kicked out. And I'm like, that's sad, I guess. They weren't supposed to be here to begin with. They broke the law to come here. And I'm not saying they're a bad person necessarily, I don't know, but you have to enforce the laws and follow them. And I understand when it's your own personal situation in your own life, you're going to have an emotional tie to where you're willing to maybe break boundaries a little bit because it's your family, it's your loved one. I get that and understand that it's complicated, it's a complex situation. But as a government, you need to enforce the laws at hand because chaos will ensue if you don't. It's absolutely insane. But check out this video with Tom Homan.
There is some new reporting that some people are getting arrested outside of their immigration hearings. They're showing up as required by law to these hearings, and then there's people waiting for them. What's your response to that?
Are they in the country illegally? Then they should be arrested. I've said from day one, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats, but I said, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. It's not okay to be in this country illegally.
But isn't it okay to come and ask for asylum and then show up for your hearing?
You can make an asylum claim, but let's talk about the asylum claims. For the last 4 years, you got millions of people making asylum claims. But if you look at immigration court data the last decade, clearly almost 9 out of 10 of these people don't qualify for asylum. They're making a false asylum claim, and 9 out of 10 will get order removed. That is a fact, right? So we got hundreds of thousands of people in the world that really do have a valid asylum claim. They really are escaping fear and persecution from the home government. They're sitting in the back seat. We got millions of fraudulent asylum claims. So everybody ICE arrests they obviously are in the country in violation of federal law. We're going to enforce that law. Just because we prioritize public safety threats and national security threats don't mean everyone else is off the table. I mean, I like to prioritize my family life over the job. It doesn't mean I ignore the job. I mean, so it's about prioritization. No one's, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. We're going to prioritize what we do. But if we run across somebody that's illegal in the United States, we're not going to instruct ICE not to enforce law. That's what the last administration did.
And like, that's why I love Tom Homan, man. You're not off the hook because you're not necessarily wreaking a bunch of havoc in our country. If you came here illegally, you are a criminal. You broke our laws. Like you don't have any right to be here. And if you get caught while in the process of trying to get the people that are actually being insane, then you still are going to be booted out. And I love the way he talked about prioritization and the fact that people that claim asylum, he said 9 out of 10 times they aren't actually qualified for it. That's crazy. This is information people got to know, because people are starting to act like everyone that crosses our border illegally is coming from sort of like hardship and they need to come here or else like they're going to die. And that's kind of like the narrative that's been spun in media. So it's like, it's very refreshing to hear that, because I didn't even know that. Absolutely insane that we are not acknowledging these things. And like, can we just stop with the division in this, like from each side, just this hate and this ridiculous nonsense, and let's just get to the truth of the matter and let's just go from there. I'm so over this. But man, I'm really, specifically the border, which is one of my biggest reasons for voting for Trump. Obviously I was going to vote for him over Kamala anyway, is the border. That needed to be fixed immediately. And I'm so glad that Tom Homan is the borders are the one doing that. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys are thinking on this. I hope you're as grateful as I am that our border is finally getting secure. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.